Intuitive eating is the name of the game. That's what I'm all about. And I'm always experimenting on myself, trying out different foods to see how they work for me. And I use these experiments as affirmation to confirm what I already know, but it's good to reconfirm that the carnivore diet is the best diet for me and is what is most optimal for my health. And I think that's very important to do. I think it's important to always be testing on yourself, to always be experimenting, and always be learning, because the more you can learn about yourself and what works best for you, the more empowered you're going to be. Because that information that you learn from those experiences and those experimentations, that's knowledge that you can carry with you for the rest of your life. And for me, it allows me to never have to take dietary advice from anyone ever again. It has allowed me to become my own best health advocate. Welcome to Apex. My name's Jacob, and I've been following the carnivore lifestyle for over 5.5 years now. So if you're tuned in to the health and nutrition space, and specifically if you follow a carnivore diet, you'll see certain people talking about adding certain types of carbohydrates to the diet, specifically fruit and honey. So I recently did an experiment on myself, and what I did in this experiment is I added one single apple to my diet every single day for 2 weeks straight. And I just want to preface this by saying that these were not grocery store apples. These were apples from the Amish in my local community. So they are grown right. There's no pesticides, no herbicides, nothing bad on them. Just naturally grown apples straight from the tree. Like I mentioned before, I'm always testing and experimenting on myself. So I've added fruit to my diet before just to see what it would do to me and to see if I would see any benefits from that. And all the times I've done it, it's either been null and void. In other words, nothing happened. There was no change whatsoever. Or I've seen some sort of detriment, which usually comes in the form of slightly off digestion, which could be things like heartburn or gas and bloating, or just a feeling of fullness in your stomach where it feels like your stomach's not fully emptying the contents like it should. And I've also noticed an increased level of hunger after I've consumed fruit. So in other words, I don't stay satiated and full as long as I would if I was just eating meat. And what I was hoping to gain from this experiment was just to reconfirm what I kind of already know, and that is that a carnivore diet consisting of only meat is the most optimal diet for me. And through this experiment, I did confirm that that is still the case. Meat is the most optimal diet for me. And what I experienced this time around was pretty much the same as every other time I've done this. I had a little bit of gas and bloating the first couple of days, and then I had really nothing. There was no difference whatsoever. And then I began to notice the increased hunger, where I wasn't staying as full as long. And when I did get hungry, my hunger signals were much more profound than they would have been if I was eating just meat. Which, don't get me wrong, it was not significant, so it's not like I had like drastic swings in blood sugar and I was like ravagingly hungry. There was just a slightly noticeable difference, because in reality, a single apple a day is really not that much. So I wouldn't have expected it to cause a substantial change in that area. But the one thing that I noticed that I had not noticed previously, and this is something that really caught me off guard, is that my body odor came back. All right, so since starting carnivore, I do not have body odor. I could be outside sweating in the sun, working in the sun all day long in the middle of the summer. I do not wear deodorant, and I do not have that distinct body odor smell that you would normally get when you're hot and sweaty and working outside. And this has been true for me the entire time I've been carnivore. And the only thing I changed in my diet was adding a single apple every single day. Now, at the end of the 14-day experiment, a couple days go by, and by the end of that week, my body odor had completely subsided and has not returned since. So there's a couple reasons why I think this could be happening. Number one is just the fermentation that occurs in the gut when you consume fruits, when you consume vegetables and fiber and sugars. A lot of that stuff will ferment in your gut, and it could be the fermentation process that's causing that body odor, because your skin is your largest organ. You're going to detox through your skin, and it could simply just be a part of the detox process, excreting byproduct from that fermentation process. Now, obviously, there's a bunch of different reasons that you could have a smell like that come back, and that could range from anything from like elevated blood sugar to the natural detox process, overburdened detox pathways, a rebound of bad bacteria in the gut, which could include things like candida or fungus, a parasitic rebound, that could be another reason. But I really don't think it was any of those things. I think it was just my body's way of telling me that what I'm eating really isn't optimal, because it's probably causing fermentation in the gut, and the waste products from that fermentation process are just coming through my pores. But I did find this to be a very interesting discovery. And again, I think this is why experimenting on yourself can be very beneficial. Because if you don't run these experiments on yourself and you're not always testing and trying things out to see how you react, then it can be really hard to cut through all the dietary advice that's out there and determine if what you're being told is going to be optimal for you. Because there's a lot of people out there saying different things, and all of that equals conflicting advice. And while sharing information is very important, and I think it's one of the best things that we have in our human experience, is the ability to share information and pass on knowledge. But seeing all that conflicting information on a day-to-day basis without knowing exactly how your body responds can be really confusing and kind of overwhelming. And while I didn't gain any positive health benefits from adding fruit to my diet for 2 weeks, I did gain a lot of knowledge about myself. And now I know moving forward that when I hear this information online and I hear all these people raving about animal-based diets and how you won't optimize your health until you include fruit in your diet, that may be true for some people, but that is not going to be true for everyone, and it is certainly not true for me. Because at the end of the day, we are all individuals, we're very unique, and when it comes to diet and nutrition, there's no one size fits all. So the best thing we can do is try things out for ourselves, always be experimenting, always be learning, get back to the basics, eat intuitively, form your own conclusions, and become your own best health advocate. And we do that through intuitive eating. So let me know in the comments below if you've reintroduced fruit or any other type of food to your diet, and let me know how it went. If you haven't done so already, be sure to like, subscribe, join the Apex Tribe. I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace out.